Hello everybody, it's me again, Darlene. I'm going to try this one more time today. I'm going to be a little bit longer today. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself. Most people know most things about me anyway. I'm an open book. But I'm just going to tell you a little bit. I'm currently 63 years old. I'm married, have 2 children, 2 grandchildren. I live in a senior's residence. It's a independent living. I'm lucky to have independent living. I don't yet need to be somewhere that has more care than that. I have a husband. He lives with me here. My children are a boy and a girl. I have a boy and a girl for grandchildren. They're many years apart. One's 23 and one's 5 months. And other than that, that's sort of the basic story of me. I got Parkinson's about 6 years ago. I probably had it before that and didn't realize. I just knew something was wrong. The first symptoms I think that I had were when I went walking, somebody noticed that my arm didn't swing. And I didn't know why that was happening. I didn't worry about it either. Then I guess after that, my writing. I belonged to a weight loss group. No, not very successful. But I belonged to a weight loss group. And I was writing things and cards of encouragement and whatnot. And people were commenting that my writing was getting very small. And I couldn't do anything about it. I could try to make it larger, but I would start off making it larger and then it got smaller again. And there was just nothing I could do about it. Now, most people who think of Parkinson's think of tremor. And I really didn't have a lot of tremor. I currently do, but I did not at that time. And so it was a long time in me knowing what was wrong. The thing that bothered me the most was my feet seemed to get stuck on the floor when I'd be walking. I couldn't turn around. I would sort of just come to a halt on the floor. And if people were around me, they'd look at me like, why are you not getting out of the way? Like you're being rude. And I wasn't trying to be rude. I just couldn't move out of the way. I had to make my brain think what I was going to do in order to make that move. So that was bothersome to me. Now, when I did finally talk to the doctor, I had had a stroke, and he kept saying, oh, don't worry, it will come back, you will get better, and you will increase. And I got better for a little while from the stroke, and then I seemed to regress. And I said to him, no, I think there's something else going on. I don't think that's it. I think there's something else going on. And then he said to me, then the key for this exam, for that, he said to me, I want you to walk down the hallway, turn around, and walk back. Well, I could walk down the hallway, but when I got to the turn around, I had to do like a 6-point turn to get turned around. I couldn't pivot. And reminds me of the Friends of the episode where they were taking the coach up the stairs. Pivot, pivot. I couldn't pivot. So he said to me at that point, he said, I think that you may have Parkinson's, but I want you to go see the neurologist. That sounded good to me. So unfortunately, I lived in a small town. They didn't have a neurologist in town, but they had a neurologist from the city that came down to the hospital. Luckily, he was in town that day. My doctor was going to be playing golf with him that afternoon, and he phoned him and said, could you fit this young lady in? I liked the fact that I was a young lady, but I went. So anyway, when I went to his office, he watched me walk from the waiting room into his office. And he started immediately talking about Parkinson's. And I said, well, there must be a test or something that you do. And he explained to me that no, it was a trial and error. There was no test that they did. They could do an MRI to look at your brain, see what's there or not there. But they didn't have a test. There's not like a blood exam or whatever. But he said, I can assure you, you have Parkinson's. And I didn't really believe that you could make a decision from watching somebody walk or asking a couple of questions, or didn't make a lot of sense to me. But he said, I can assure you, you do have Parkinson's. And I didn't think it was that big of a deal because it wasn't overly affecting me. I mean, it was a nuisance, but it wasn't overly affecting me. And then he said something that really annoyed me. He said to me, if we can get you 10 good years, you'll be happy. Well, no, I wouldn't be happy with 10 good years. I mean, I was less than 60 years old at the time. Now, I thought he meant that 10 years I was going to be dead. But no, he did not mean that. He meant if we could handle with medication the Parkinson's itself, by the time 10 years came, it would have progressed to a point where I probably wouldn't have a quality of life that I would like. So I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that I extend that 10 years, because I am 6 years into it, and I'm not happy at 10 years being the prognosis. So therefore, I started medication. There's one sort of the gold standard medication. It's called Cinemet. It's levodopa. I'm not a doctor, but from what I understand, your brain doesn't have enough dopamine or doesn't use the dopamine it has efficiently. So therefore you take this synthetic dopamine and you start off with 4 to 8 tablets throughout the day, giving you dopamine to make your brain work. Well, it hasn't taken me very long. I have been 4 years in a new city. We moved to be closer to our children. We were across the country, so we moved to be closer to our children. And I have been 4 years here, and I went from 4 tablets of the levodopa to 18 tablets of the levodopa. I take medication every 3 hours, 3 tablets a time, from 6 o'clock in the morning, 9 in the morning, noon, 3, 6, and 9. Then at 10 or 11, I take an overnight, 2 extra, overnight levodopa, which is twice as strong as the daytime, but it's a slower release. And then they don't want me to have medication during the night. They want me to try to be without the medication at that point. It doesn't work for me very well to do that because I wake up automatically. But when you don't have the medication, your body shuts down. So therefore, I have on time and off time. When my medicine is working, I'm on and I can do stuff. Like now, I can talk, I can think, I can do things. When my medication stops, it stops instantly. I get a little tingle in my feet and my hands, and suddenly I cannot move. I am frozen in place. My hands cramp up. 1 foot, the toes bend way under. 1 foot, the toes go way up. My joints are all stiff, and I can't move. I can't stand, I can't walk, I can't do anything. I'm stuck where I am, and very slowly I can try to get to a washroom or something, but it's very difficult. I can't even lay down in the bed at that point. So how often would that happen? Well, in a 3-hour time frame of taking your medicine, I would take my medicine and I would get a little bit of good time, about an hour and a half. And then I would have 45 minutes where my body shut down, but it wasn't time to take new medicine. So I had 45 minutes of being frozen, and then I would take my medicine, and then I'd have 15 to half an hour of time waiting for my medicine to work. So out of every 3 hours of time all day long, I get an hour and a half of good time and an hour and a half of sit down, don't do anything time. And it's quite painful. So therefore, I didn't handle it very well. And that's common with Parkinson's patients to not handle it well because, you know, you're not able to do the things that you want to do. So we have now added a new medication. This is what they do. You just add more things. And this is a patch that I wear that's it's called an agonist. And it's supposed to make the levodopa I take more efficient so I have less off time and more on time. We'll see how it goes. I've just started it. But the problem being is then you'll have to increase that medication as it quits working. And the side effects from that can be hallucinations, confusion, you can lose your voice. These are things that are serious side effects, and they will affect myself and my family. So therefore, this channel, the purpose of this channel is that while I have the capability and whatnot to make a video and talk to my kids and tell them that life is good, no matter what, I want to do that. Because there will come a time when they would probably appreciate knowing that mom, who no longer can talk and who can't think straight and is probably in a home, that's not who she is. She is this person here. And I want them to remember that. So that's what this is all about. This is not a pity me channel. This is not there's nothing you can do channel. There's plenty of things we can do, and I will get into that. I will tell you all the wonderful things that I am trying to do, and I try to do them on my good time. My bad time, sometimes it's just sit down and wait for the good time to come. Sometimes it's I'm very frustrated or in pain, and I sit in my chair and I cry, and my husband doesn't know what to do. And I think to myself, you're not being very graceful, Darlene. Sometimes bad words are coming out of your mouth that shouldn't be coming out of your mouth. That's not the way you were raised. So I'm going to have to learn to control some of those things. But anyway, this channel is going to be an upbeat, what I'm doing for it, how I'm thriving while doing it. I have some exciting things that I do. I have some really strange things that I do. I'm going to show you one strange thing, and then I'm going to shut my video down, and I might talk a little bit later on before I publish. Have to be careful. My husband's not fully dressed yet, so I've got to be careful. But anyway, I'm going to try and see. I don't know how to turn this camera around. I'm going to see if I can turn the camera around, and I'm going to show you my... Do you remember the old game Twister that you used to play? Well, anyway, Twister had big spots, and they put your hands down on it and your feet down on it when you spin the little dial. Well, I, in my apartment, have big black dots on my nice laminate floor. Big black dots in paths, because what it does is it tricks my brain. So if they weren't there, I'd try to walk to the bathroom, and I'd get as far as the bathroom door, and my body would probably stop. It stops in doorways and has a little bit of trouble doing that. It tricks my brain, and my brain says, step to the next dot, step to the next dot. And so I kind of don't even realize I'm doing it. But people come into my house and they look at the floor and they go, oh, she's got some weird taste in decorating. But anyway, I'm going to press a button here, see if it turns the camera around. Oh, no, it won't, because I've got I have to take my tablet out of the stand. I'm going to just turn the whole thing around. I'm going to go with it. Bill, are you covered up, please? It's pretty sad when you got to tell your husband to cover up, please. Okay, I'm going to turn around like this. I'm going to unattach so I can do this. Okay, so now here, if we look on my floor, let's see. That's not doing a very good job of looking on my floor. There, oh, there you can see the dots. You see, there's dots going into that bathroom there. And there's dots going into the bedroom. I don't know how clean my kitchen is, but here it doesn't matter. This is what it is. There's dots telling me I can go into the kitchen. So that's how I do it. I follow the dots. I guess it's like going back to kindergarten or something. Anyway, listen, I'm 14 minutes in here. You guys are going to be bored with me. I'm going to shut it down, and I might show you a little bit something fun a little later in the day. Okay.